magical transformation, right? There is a lot in this story. Now, let's get the facts together. How many people are in this story? Who do we have in the story? We have
Cow
farmer, and we have the neighboring cow. And then we have the cow farmer as transformed into the cow. So there's actually like 3 characters in there. So when you hear that every day he eats this 21-ounce steak with peanut butter, what do you feel? What was your feeling? Like, what did your heart go? You went weird,
Heart
right?
attack.
Good?
Heart attack.
Heart attack, right? Like, what was your feeling?
Kind of lonely.
Lonely, like he's eating this steak all by himself. What else did you feel?
I wanted to eat a steak.
Yuck. Yeah, that was my feeling. I was like, oh God. What else? You had something else?
There's a really good steakhouse nearby we could go to.
He went yum. Okay, and so then he turned into a cow, right? What was your feeling? Were you like, okay, sure?
I was feeling, holy cow!
Okay, we're getting weird here, right? The story was very normal up until now. Now we've stepped into the realm of other. Okay? And then we got to that he went and encountered his cow farmer, right? And the cow farmer, the neighbor, was staring at him viciously. And so what was your feeling then? The sense of viciousness, right? Your sense was
Insecurity?
insecurity or
Sense of helplessness.
like helplessness.
Kind of. What is wrong with these farmers?
I started to get annoyed over it.
These farmers, their community has some problems.
Like they're eating steak with peanut butter.
He's not peanut butter, and then they're turning into cows, and then the other farmer, he's not like just like, I'm hungry. He's like vicious. That's
all like-
a tough word.
You know? Exactly. So then, after the viciousness, he gets killed and eaten by his neighbor. And I was already really horrified at that point, like myself.
He kills his neighbor.
But this is the lesson that he took from the thing. What's the lesson that he took? Ever after, he kills his neighboring cow farmer before he eats his steak. So I want to ask, what does this mean to you? When you saw this, what did you understand was the moral of the story? Like, what did you understand the story to mean when you got, well, actually at any point, but especially to the end?
The people in this room is crazy. I call them.
Okay. Noted, okay. But what else, what did you feel? Or what was your understanding when you got to the end of the story? What did you think about like the group as you did, or about the story, or about the idea, like the mindset of this story?
He's protecting his neighbor. He's protecting his neighbor from eating steak and turning into a cow himself.
Who was protecting him? He killed his neighbor though. So you're saying that you can kill people to protect them?
The moral of the story.
Okay. So in this world, you kill people to protect them.
Because he wants to,
Is this what you want to live with? I'm sorry, what did you say?
because death is sweeter than being a cow. Now,
Okay.
Maybe he wants to eat his neighbor so that if you are what you eat, you become human again.
Oh, that's a good point. You could transform back. So the moral really is that you are what you eat. And you can use this as a principle in this world. So like, I now want to be a tree, I'm going to eat a tree.
But I guess either one could be the neighboring cow farmer.
It sort of
Yeah.
looks like so
Sorry?
to me, because he went to the other side, then he saw how the world, how things are from the other side, and that's why he found out the neighbors were viciously staring at him, because before he was at the neighbor's side, so he was staring viciously, but it was just normal for him. And now that he's on the coast side, he's like, oh fuck, this is so scary, this guy, he's looking at me like this, I was like that before. And pretty much.
So he's gained a new perspective on that.
Yeah.
But what's strange to me is that I followed that same reading, and then in the end he learns that you really are what you eat. And rather than learning that lesson, he then turns into a killer, or still is a killer. So I found this story to be kind of inconsistent from where we started. I don't know who wrote this. This person has a lot of personalities going on.
Yeah, You need it.
But it seemed to have a different message at the end from where it was right before that.
I think that was the underlying meaning of when she said there was a lot going on in the story.
Well, it's kind of like you don't know someone until that you walk a mile in their shoes kind of deal. Like, and especially for the oppressed versus the oppressors.
But he chose the oppressor side of it.
Right, like so even because he comes from the oppressed community, and then he understands what the oppressors feel because he comes from the oppressor community, but he understands what the oppressed feel. But even then, he cannot take off the cloak of oppression, and he still maintains.
He's transcended his physical body, but his mentality
he cannot escape from the what the oppressor must do, which is destroy all those.
I'm now even more depressed than when I read
Even when you step into someone else's shoes,
You still maintain
you
your own
still
mentality.
try to maintain your own selfish motives.
There's
It's
no
very
hope.
depressing.
Okay.
That's the struggle of theater, actually.
So do we agree that this is consensus? We don't have to agree on the actual thing. The way I run my discussions is open-ended, right? Is that you go through, you look at what the thing is, you decide how you feel about it, because it's very important to go through your feelings before you start doing analysis. Because if you analyze something without understanding what you feel about it, then you're lost. You can just argue endlessly in circles, and it's like reading Derrida or something like that. You know, you're just like, I don't know what this means, and I don't care. It's important to know what you care about before you decide what something means. And so that's the kind of way I take in the discussions we have. And it's about learning who we are, learning who the people are around us. It's investigating personal stories. I don't like hanging out just in the abstract world. I want to know, what do you think in your life, and what does it really mean to you? And so, but in the end, we don't all have to agree. We don't have to all walk out going, yes, this is about the oppressor taking on the oppressed. No, we can just be like, well, this is what I felt, this is what you felt. You just take away your own conclusion and use it to inform your life, or not. You know, you take what you want out of it going away. And what I love about these discussions that I've run is that often, like 3 discussions later on a totally different topic, somebody will remember like, oh, but you know what, this totally relates to, like, do you remember last year when we were talking about X, Y, Z? And it all gets tied together, which is really like how life is. There's a lot of different threads that you're all working on at the same time. They all inform each other. So, yeah.
I think he learned his lesson. I think I learned this lesson. You really are what you think.
You are what you think. Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. Because yes, that's what this is. You are what you think. You physically became what he ate. And you are what he is what he thought.